Okay. See, this is what happens when I forget there's a second video that plays. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever the hell you are on this beautiful planet. And welcome to Friday Night Six Pack, the funnest show on a Friday night where we tackle a very serious and very important topic while gradually getting more and more inebriated and kind of end up just talking shit at the end. So look, if you're here for a serious topic, watch the first 10 or 20 mints. If you're here for a good time, watch the. It really can. It really can. And just to be clear, Jen, is that alcoholic? Is that just Coke? All right. So people, we are in for a good night.
Weird. I've got melon liqueur in Pepsi, which is odd, but it's the cool drink I had with the alcohol I had. It's the alcohol I had left, and the only cool drink I had. So.
Can I ask you a question?
Actually quite nice.
Is it working? It's all right?
Yeah, it's really nice.
Okay, so we'll call that a Jen. So if you ever go to the bar, just say, I'll have a Jens Lil Corner. And when they look at you, just go, what?
Brilliant. I would so love that if there became a drink named Jens Lil Corner.
I think we have to make it. I'm sure that no one else has tried Midori and Pepsi. So let's make that a Jens Lil Corner.
Yep. I'll have to make it a common thing.
Well, I guess since I've run into you first, how you doing, Jen? How's your week?
Oh, busy and crazy and insane. And I still haven't done any of the videos I promised, so don't expect anything in a hurry from me at the moment.
You're always letting us down. I mean, how do you do this, Jen?
I have. Why? Well, the problem, you know what it's like when you're trying to organize moving. And I mean, I know we've got 6 weeks to do it in, but there's stuff to do to this house first for it to go on the market, and there's packing and organizing and everything, and we've got to have a removalist because we're not doing personal moving for 500-kilometer trips. So
I was going to say, in all fairness, you're only moving to the next suburb, aren't you?
No, we're moving 500 kilometers away. So
yeah, but on your side of the country, that's like
it feels like another suburb, doesn't it? Yeah.
So like that Simpsons episode where he went next door and it took him about a week to get there and come back. So
yeah,
no,
yeah,
don't worry.
That's kind of why I've only been doing streams, because I can organize streams out of time. I know I'm going to be there. I do it for how long it is and I'm done. Whereas if I start editing a video, I usually tend to spend 4 or 5 hours doing it. So I don't have that time to give up at the moment. I want to get the videos done I want to do, but I just haven't had time.
Oh, I can appreciate that. And so I guess we'll do the rounds. We've got Jay. I think it's Jay's first time on Six Pack, so we rarely see him. Jay,
I've been on every single.
I haven't even had any yet.
I don't think you've missed one, have you? That's good.
I don't think I have. I think I've been on.
I think you've been on more than me.
I've been on more than you have.
No, you've when you were really sick, you missed 2.
Oh, yep, I did. Yep,
you missed 2.
Yeah, I think in all fairness, I think that was the female takeover week, though.
Yeah, one was.
Yeah.
One was, but the other one wasn't. The other one was a normal week.
It all happens. Grumpy old dude, Ed, mate, good interview the other day.
Good morning. Yeah, that was awesome.
How much fun was that?
That was awesome.
I didn't learn anything new.
Didn't you?
I wonder why.
me and Ed actually talk a lot, so
yeah.
I didn't.
I can't compete with that.
You could have asked me all those questions, and I could have told you.
Oh, you mean I didn't even need to get Ed on?
No, it just could have just been me and you, and we could have talked about it.
Jane knows more about Ed than Amber does.
We do bitch about Ed a fair bit. I mean, you should see some of the private messages. Oh, that Ed's at it again. Oh, bloody Ed. We're always
that bitch.
I know. Now, very importantly, we've got someone who's coming back. It's not his first time on. Someone we love having come on. And I put out what tonight's topic was. He mentioned, I wish I could be on this one. I'm like, guess what? It just so happens.
And I love your studio, Ansgar.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
looks really
How
nice.
you doing, Ansgar? What's going on, buddy?
Oh man, I am doing great. I'm loving Wisconsin. We just had a beautiful storm blow through. It is beautiful here. As you can see, I'm working on getting my studio together, which is pretty much together. Although I don't have my coffee bar in yet, but I'm building a coffee bar. I got my mini fridge right here, and soon I'll be opening up a Kentucky bourbon ale. So that'll be nice.
Oh, nice.
I nearly bought some of them.
Very nice. and I just want to say I've got nothing but respect for those of you in the US that jump on and drink with us early in the morning. Like that's but yeah, my hat certainly. Well, if I was wearing a hat, my hat would go off. I guess I'll get Ed to take his hat off for us, and
I'll tip.
He can. There we go.
Put it back on. Put it back on. Now I can't.
Ed's hat's off.
Well, it's a perfect timing because I just got back from driving my wife to work, so I can drink now. So it's all good.
Even better. See, it's just a win-win all round, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, this is a topic I'm really interested in because one of my very favorite things to do just for pure, like, stupid entertainment is I either have to be drunk or high. I have to be. Like, I can't do this sober. But I like to watch Ancient Aliens. And
love that show. Oh, it's one of my favorites.
God, it is so hilarious.
God. This stream is going to drive me nuts.
But if I'm sober, I will punch the screen. So I have to be inebriated.
Right,
so yeah, that's why I was
show.
like, oh God, you got to get me in on this one.
Well, you asked for God, and God is here, so excellent, cool. So tonight, and look, a big hello to everyone who's in the audience too. I haven't forgotten you. It says a few familiar faces. Jay, I can see that your stalker's here. In fact, your stalker was here first.
Yeah, the stalker was here first.
Yeah. Yeah, Ed's stalker is also here, so it's that's good to see.
Yeah, you show Ed. She can be here if she wants to.
She being bad. She's supposed to be at work.
Well, that's all right. She is. She's just checking in on you. So I mean, it's her husband is a star of the internet, so it's good that she's there watching. So
I need to get her to do more videos on my channel because she gets more views than I do.
There's a reason for that, Ed. There's a reason for that.
I know she's beautiful.
We love you. Absolutely.
Or as they say in the entertainment industry, there's two reasons for that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Ed, we've been meaning to have a conversation with you. I'm sorry.
Poor Ed. Be nice to me, Ed.
Poor Ed. So a big hello to those who are engaging in the chat. Now, we're going out live over Facebook and YouTube. I'm seeing the YouTube comments, so if people are making comments on Facebook and I missed them, I will apologise. I'll try and check in as much as I can. But Master Zenith, good to see you. My good mate from I guess brother from the Shire, I guess you'd say. We're both from the Shire. Ozman Cometh, must be new, that Ozman guy. That's my producer for everyone who doesn't know. We did a pretty fun chat last night. Paul Kamish, good to see you. Wally Ignorant, I haven't seen you for a while, mate. Good to see you. And anyone who I've missed, hey, Scummer's here too. So good to see you all. I think I've got everyone who I've seen comment. If I've missed anyone, I really, really do apologise. But if I have missed anyone, it's not my fault. It's aliens. So let's talk about some aliens, ancient aliens.
I so should have put on a tinfoil hat.
Ed's got one.
Bobby was meant to be here, but his computer's playing up.
Oh, brilliant, Ed. I love it.
He never lets us down. Never lets us down. Okay, so aliens in the Bible. So just to be clear, we'll be talking about predominantly the Old Testament tonight, I would imagine. What are our thoughts? I guess initial thoughts when you see the topic aliens in the Bible without getting into anything. I'm gonna throw over to you, Ansgar, because I know you've got some interest in this. So what do you, when you hear aliens in the Bible, what do you think?
Well, two things. First of all, I think I am going to be paying attention because I'm a comic book writer, and some of this makes for great fiction. But the other thing,
that's the Bible in general.
yeah, seriously.
Well, it is great fiction, isn't it?
Well, it's very poor fiction, but it's popular.
Well, for its time when it was written, it was pretty good fiction.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think we lost Ansgar.
We have.
Oh,
but,
he's frozen.
We lost him. We lost him with a grin in his face. I don't want to say it was aliens, but it was aliens.
It was aliens. They ported him up, and now, and let's hope they've got enough lubricant for that anal probe.
They knew that. Jen, it's starting early, isn't it, Jen? It's starting.
It was either the alien or it was NASA.
There we go. We've got him back.
No, we lost him.
We got him back, and we lost him. We've lost him.
I blame NASA. NASA's trying to shut him down. He knows something that they don't want coming out.
I mean, you know what? Not only have we lost Ansgar, but Bobby also couldn't get in tonight. So I'm thinking that there's a lot. Ansgar is back.
Yeah, I think I'm having troubles because of the storm.
Was it aliens? We think it was aliens.
Oh, it's always aliens. Sorry about that. No, what I was going to say for the other thing is that aliens in general seems like a modern way of going, okay, all this magic and mysticism stuff doesn't comport with what I know to be reality. So how do I make this sound more sciencey? You know what I mean? Like, how do I make this sound more plausible to my own mind? And that's what the whole thing feels like to me with aliens in the Bible, because you're taking the same kind of bizarre events that are described in the Bible and just going, well, it wasn't really angels and gods and, things like that. It was just, aliens that people misunderstood,
And I think that has been something that's been that whole. There's a whole mythology sort of around. Well, look, it's just what's in the Bible is just a BC misinterpretation of something that science could explain, which would be aliens and spaceships. Have you got any? And I will throw across to everyone. Have you got any particular parts that you like where they link the aliens to it?
Oh, geez. I would have to say that probably my favorite is when they take now this isn't particularly Christianity, so I'm sorry that I'm going a little outside, but when they take some of the anthropomorphized sort of animal beast hybrids of other religions, you know what I mean? Like we're talking about the Egyptians with the animal heads, or we're talking like the Minotaur or something like that, and they start getting into like, these are actually like alien genetic experiment hybrid things, you know what I mean? Like they start getting into some really far out there territory. And that's where I start to watch. I like to watch the wheels turn and try to have them figure out like how their headcanon is going to wrap around all of this mythology.
Oh yeah, there's some good stuff in there. What about you, Ed? What do you think when you hear aliens in the Bible?
One of the first things I think about is the burning bush. And was it really a bush, or was that the only way they knew how to describe this alien ship that someone was speaking from?
Could it have just been a very strong flashlight behind a bush,
or could it have been somebody with crabs? I'm just saying.
Not enough foreplay.
It was just a redhead standing out there butt naked.
Oh dear. we normally at least last 20 minutes. Come on.
Hey, Jen started it early.
I'm sorry. When you say burning
always
bush,
starts it.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Is a burning bush a new way to have a Brazilian?
All right. Okay. Let's moving on. It's too early for this part. We'll get to this a little later. Okay. So Jay, from a theist point of view, or not necessarily a theist, I think you're on a bit of a journey at the moment. How would you look at it?
Well, I'm a big proponent of that, and I will state once again I can't prove it. Of aliens visiting Earth previously. So I think for me there may be some context there, but like I said, I can't prove anything. It's a lot of speculation. I'm not a Planet X kind of Nibiru. No, that one's bullshit. But
Nibiru definitely crap.
Yeah. But stories like the Nephilim or the Egyptian gods, the Norse gods, beings with extraordinary powers. possible, you know.
Mhm.
So,
Well, Jen, I'll throw to you now. I'm sure we'll get something crude later, but from a serious point of view, Jen, what do you think?
Okay, well, if there were powerful beings that visited people in ancient times, and that, then they're not gods. They're aliens, aren't they? So, that why not? Why not have a Stargate sort of thing where you've got these ancient aliens, who come down to visit, and we mistake them for gods? Because any super advanced technology looks like magic if you don't understand it. So.
So do you think, I guess to throw it out to everyone, do we all think it would be fair to say that, and this is a hypothetical, if people in ancient times saw a UFO, that they may interpret that, or would likely interpret that as a god or a divine kind of action? Do we think that's fair?
Some sort of divine message.
Are we talking about UFO?
Or chariot of a god.
Let's say a classic
or
UFO.
A god, or like an alien itself.
Let's say a UFO. I guess the modern UFO style of thing, which I don't actually buy into. But if that were the case, like the UFO comes, beams someone up, they go into a special place and have special time, and do we?
Is that what we're calling it now? Special time with the aliens.
We'll call it special time with the aliens.
Special time with a burning bush.
Do we? Do we think it's fair to say that could would be interpreted as a divine act or something, a sign from God or a god?
I think it's highly contextual, honestly. Like, I don't think our ancestors were quite as dumb as we like to think they were. Would they probably see, if it was just a UFO, probably see it as signs in the sky of some kind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if we're talking about somebody gets abducted and experimented on, I'm thinking they're probably more likely to see this as something evil and horrendous, not something divine and beautiful.
It'd be a devil, yeah. Well, it depends what way they swing. I mean,
why is everything?
It could be divine and beautiful. Yeah.
Why is everything today have to come about something going into or out of my ass?
Welcome the Greeks have stories of the gods coming down and having sex with them, and then you have Nephilim, their version of Nephilim, that the demigods,
which is the fallen angels that bred with the women. Yeah.
See, the one thing
got Nephilim in the Jewish tradition. I mean, they kind of ignore that in Christianity, but the Jews believe that the angels did the same thing. So
that's from the
aliens coming down and having sex.
Well, actually, I think it's in Genesis 6. Sorry, Ansgar, while you're talking, I'm going to look that up.
I was going to say, the two things that debunk the whole alien thing for me, especially the ancient aliens, is one, this idea, and we've seen it in other fields, and I can get into that in a bit, but this human sort of idea that every single living creature is going to find human women attractive and want to mate with them. It's just so ridiculous. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Have you seen human women? I mean,
I have, but then again, I'm a human.
I mean, they know Orion's slave girl, but
the other thing is if we met aliens and they ended up, a bipedal, two-eyed, two-armed, basically humanoid creature, the universe would have some splaining to do. Like, seriously. So those are the things that really just kind of turned me off from the belief in the ancient alien thing.
This brings actually an interesting. I just want to throw a really interesting question actually before we go too much further in. And I think I know Ansgar's answer. And for me, it's no, I don't believe in ancient aliens. What about the rest of you? Just a yay or an A? What do you think, Grumpy?
I think maybe it's possible. I'm not going to say it. It's absolutely impossible. Mm-hmm. I don't personally believe in it. I don't know. I think maybe people were just experimenting with different herbs and other things that they picked. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jay?
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. Jen?
Oh, I certainly believe there are aliens. Do I ever believe they came here? No, not in your life.
Oh, excellent. Oh, and look, I think there's life on other planets, but I don't think they're flying around in, spaceships abducting Americans. So, and only Americans, I might add.
My personal take on life on other planets: 99.999% of the universe is inhospitable to life as we know it. Most of the universe is inhospitable. The more we've learned about the universe, the more we learn that in the cycles of things that happen within the universe, like active galactic nuclei, the way galaxies merge and things like that, for very long periods of times, most galaxies are inhospitable to life. So we are fairly unique. The chances of there even being a life form at the point that we are in our technological advancement within our galaxy is very, very small, and the universe is incredibly big. So we could be alone within our galaxy quite easily, as far as intelligent life goes. As far as life itself goes, life seems pretty tenacious and wants to start out, but evolution doesn't aim towards intelligence. It doesn't need to. It just survivability, and you don't need intelligence for that. That's what Ansgar was saying. Finding other aliens like us is probably unlikely. However, if they were intelligent aliens who could get to us and come and visit us, then they're going to be somewhat similar to us. They're going to have appendages that they can manipulate things to create technology with. They're going to have to be able to move in some way, which is most likely
giant brain, lots of tentacles.
Yes, that's possible. You could have something with lots of tentacles. However, these things are very handy and will probably evolve. We used to think that we could have silicon-based life forms, but the complex molecules you can create with silicon aren't quite as complex as you can get out of carbon. There's a lot more carbon in the universe, and the amino acids in that are way more common within the universe that are based off carbon and things like that. So
silicon-based life is plausible, but not nearly as likely.
Incredibly unlikely. No, carbon is going to be way more common. Water-based is going to be common too, because water is so abundant. Yeah, I mean, not because abundant, obviously, is helium and hydrogen, but so we're going to find life forms that are like us. They're going to have RNA or DNA or some equivalent to that. So they're going to get to having intelligence, they're going to evolve around similar lines, not exactly the same, but they're not going to look like us.
Well, yeah, just look at the abundance of life on this planet. Nothing looks like. Had another path of creature other than apes, essentially turned into an intelligent life form. We could have a vastly different looking intelligent species.
The dinosaurs were getting to that point.
Yeah, there were a couple dinosaurs that were getting
that were starting to do the whole ape-like settlement things, and not settlement, but being in groups, having a semi-culture thing, that ape-like cultures and things like that you'd expect of more intelligent.
If cephalopods were social,
they would have still ended up being bipedal with 2 forelimbs, and probably have evolved to look not like us, but is something recognizable to us.
Right. And that is, of course, a creature from our world that actually, does evolve along similar lines. Unlike if you went into, like I said, something like a cephalopod, which is just so alien to us. Yet we're finding out they're incredibly intelligent. One of the major things that separates them from having like a culture like many other species on this planet do, like wolves. I mean, you don't think about it, but wolves do have a culture. The cephalopods are not social. They don't live in groups.
That's not true. There are a couple of groups that are. The problem with cephalopods is they tend to die after having sex. When they first breed, they die out. So you don't have this ongoing cultural thing that they can pass down. So the really big the ones that are really known for their intelligence, though, they have some social ability, but they certainly don't live in groups, and they can actually be aggressive if you have too many of them in one place. There is a particular group of cephalopods that live somewhere in Australia, off the coast somewhere, that they actually build little groups. They actually like a little underwater village.
It's really cool.
Will live together. They will actually live together, but they still have the same problem that when it comes time to breeding, they screw themselves to death. The males die after having sex, and the females die after giving birth, and that's it. That's the end of that thing, and the kids don't have you need that nurturing and passing on information to
Jen, in all fairness, do they really die after having sex, or are they just not calling the next day?
No, they die.
I have a question for anyone who might be in the chat, or you said that you believe in ancient aliens, Jay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I have a question is, why would an intelligent species come all this way, right, and then build things out of stone? Like, why did aliens fly to this planet and build shit out of stone? Like, where are the high grade polymers and shit like that they would have built things out of? Because it's like the most inefficient possible way to build things is out of stone with manual labor and copper tools.
Like, I didn't say they were built that way. I never said it made sense.
I reckon I could actually answer that.
Okay,
theoretically, right. and okay, so I'm someone who I don't believe in ancient aliens.
All right.
However, if I were to look at that premise, why? I would probably say, if you were an alien species and you've come across a fairly primitive group of people, you're not just going to uplift them to a high technological level straight away. Potentially, what you could do is you could upgrade their engineering abilities, and I guess give them the skills and some knowledge to then see how they go in doing, I guess, that with the materials.
But wouldn't have. Like at the center of, let's say, a temple in Egypt, right, where the god was supposed to reside, wouldn't there be like an advanced polymer and a technological place where the alien, the god, was chilling out?
That's not where the gods were meant to reside. The pyramids were tombs for the Egyptian king.
Right, I'm talking about not the pyramids. But actually, the ancient alien theorists contend that the pyramids were. This is true. They actually contend this were a resonance chamber to generate electricity that then shot a microwave beam to a mothership to recharge it. I am not joking.
In all fairness, the ancient alien theorists I think they've got about 12. They've got about 12 seasons under their belt, and I reckon they have surely run out of things. They even wheel out Eric Von Daniken every now and then.
That was the first season. That was the first season. Just to be clear, see, they believe that you would flood you would flood basically the Nile, and the water would come in and it would shake things around, and just the vibration would generate this electricity, and then that little tunnel that they theorize was probably meant to guide the soul into Orion's belt. They say was actually a tunnel, basically like a focusing tube to shoot a microwave beam at a mothership so that it could refuel.
I think we can all agree that that's definitely just
that didn't happen.
Yeah, even I go no.
Sorry, Ed, I think you were going to jump in.
Yeah, let me try and answer that question for Ansgar. Since you're an artist as well, you do comic books.
Oh yeah.
When you were a child, could you use the same, implements for art that you use now, or did you have to start with something more basic?
Well, let me answer that. If my house when I was a child would have been, if everyone there would have died, and archaeologists came along later, they would find evidence of adults using adult tools and a kid using kid tools, right? So if there were aliens here with their technology teaching people how to build out of stone for some reason and demanding monuments in their visage, why isn't there any advanced technology left over?
Because
that's to assume that they wanted the monuments built. It could have just been something that, and once again, I don't believe this,
right.
But it could have just been okay. Let's throw a hypothetical. The aliens come down. They say, "Here's a little bit of an upgrade. Here's some engineering that we've taught you." The ancient people go, "The gods have shown us this. We will build a monument," and it's similar to the cargo cults.
And now the reason you don't find anything from the aliens is because they realized this planet has a jacked up species. Get your stuff, pack up, we're going home.
Or maybe, like those little flashy things that they have in Men in Black. Maybe they just wiped everyone's knowledge of the technology, said this species is fucked, took all their technology, and left us back in the Stone Age. Maybe we were developing fine, and they didn't come here actually to help us at all. They came here to set us back because fuck these guys. If they ever get into space is screwed.
Maybe we were going okay, and they gave us all this technology. Then God got angry and flooded the earth.
Oh,
That's it. We've solved it. We've solved it. Well, yeah. So interesting. So Genesis 6, chapter 4. So this is just before the flood. The Nephilim were on earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God went to the daughters of human and had children by them. So there we go. Evidence.
And that's when the more intelligent alien said, "You want it? Stay here with it. We're leaving."
Now, one of the reasons I don't buy into the whole alien side of things is because when you look at accounts like Genesis, Genesis wasn't written 4,000 years ago by Moses. In fact, Moses never existed. It was written 2,500 years ago by people in Babylonian captivity, and they were basically just kind of copying what had come before, like other mythologies from other places. So the Bible's actually not unique in that sense. So, man, I'm feeling sorry for Bobby Mack. Bobby Mack's desperately trying to get in.
He's trying like hell to get in.
His audio's not connecting. It's he's in the background again, and I think he's ready to throw his computer. But hopefully he can, because I'd love to hear Bobby's take on this. I really, really would. So Genesis 1. Okay, let's go Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, this is something that I've heard from a few different places. So the Hebrew word for God that was used in Genesis 1, it's not Yahweh or Jehovah, or however you want to translate it. It's Elohim. Now, Elohim directly translates to those who came from the sky. Do we think there's anything in that? As opposed to he or the one who came from the sky, which would be Eloha. But it's Elohim.
I mean, if you look at most of us, our ancestors didn't know what was in the sky, right? All we know, we had no way of reaching the sky, and so if you look like birds, they were viewed as powerful because they could fly. In fact, the reason, for instance, so many of the earlier religions featured anthropomorphized human animal hybrids as gods was simply because, ancient people were going, well, what would make me powerful, or what would make a being powerful? What would make a god more powerful than us? Oh, wow. Well, what if they had the strength of and claws of a lion? Or what if they could fly? And so, you've got this, you've got the sky, this mysterious blanket over us that's ever changing and interesting. And I think they just simply saw it as those, that's the heavens. Literally, it's just this mysterious realm above us where only the birds, and they are the only living things we know of that can play up there, so to speak.
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of different. Yeah, there's some interesting sort of takes on it. I guess you could interpret things in a lot of different ways, and I think clearly the ancient alien theorists, they're starting from a position of it was aliens. Now let's prove it. Mm-hmm. I think that's fair to say. It's so. I guess if I were to throw to you, Jay. Now you said you do believe. What leads you to believe, or is there anything in particular that's compelling for you?
There's just. If you look at the different pantheons and whatnot, there's a lot of similarities. Even when you look at, with the Chinese, to the Romans and things like that, they the different cultures talk about different beings with different powers and different abilities and things like that. To have the same, and we even look at the structures like the pyramids and stuff. I understand from a engineering standpoint, a pyramid is one of the strongest buildings you can build. But back in the day, it was, to find them all over the place. It's just, it's for me, it's too coincidental, I guess would be my take on it. Without any outside access, outside help or thing. It was just too coincidental for them to all the places to have the same kind of structures. You look at the Mayans and the Egyptians and even the Chinese, all were building, pyramid-shaped monuments all about the same time.
See, I see that, and I get the exact opposite from that. The exact opposite. Like, here's the thing. I can draw, let's say, a character, right? And I think that is my unique, and this has happened before, and that is my unique character. And somebody from halfway across the fucking world can draw almost the exact same thing and have never seen what I drew, right? And all that is humans really, we aren't as different as we like to think. The gods were, when we created these characters of the gods, we based them on ourselves. And human societies aren't going to be that different because we're the same species, right? We have the same drives and motivations. And so we're basing their traits, we're basing their personalities off of ourselves. And then what are their powers? Well, we're anthropomorphizing nature, right? Well, how do we explain this natural event? Well, it's a god. So of course they have similar powers, As for pyramids, oh man, if you want to build something really, really tall, well, especially when you're talking about very primitive engineering, it was the only way to continue building something tall, And here's the other thing. Which
is why pyramids were built in multiple countries.
Yes, yeah. And then one other thing is with the ancient step pyramids of Egypt that continually failed. I mean, you're talking about generations of failed pyramids. In fact, even the bent pyramid. That doesn't seem to me like an ancient being coming in and showing us a perfect design. That seems to me like monkeys trying to figure shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now exactly. something else to remember as well is even when you look at, say, back in the times of the Romans, Europe and Asia were actually a lot more connected than people realize. There was contact between. It's not like they were two distant people that never knew of or anything to do with each other. There's actually what's called the Silk Road.
The Silk Road,
and there was a lot of trade that happened. Now, the Romans weren't necessarily marching legions into Beijing, but they were certainly, they were in the Middle East. They were trading with Persia and that region, which was trading with India. The Indians were certainly trading with China.
To quickly add to that, there were things found in Egypt. Now, we don't know how they got there, but there were things found in Egypt that would suggest they had either some sort of, trade or direct trade with South America. They found things in Egypt that could have only come from South America. Now, most likely that was trade. But it does suggest that there was some influence basically across the whole globe, even if these people didn't know each other at all.
Well, and also in Australia, we've got hieroglyphs. There's evidence. There's possible evidence that that Egyptians at some point may have made it to Australia back in the very early periods. And
Interesting. I didn't know that.
And we know the Egyptians did send out boats all around and everywhere. Additionally, we know the Chinese were here 1,000 years ago.
I forget what Egyptian queen it was, but she was one of the only ones, and her name they attempted to scrub from record because she essentially stole the kingdom from her son. But she was the one that built the obelisks, interestingly enough. But she sent out explorers all over the world in every direction to find trade and find new cultures to trade with, and brought in a golden era during her time. It was really quite interesting.
Is that Nefertiti?
No, not Nefertiti.
No, not Nefertiti. No,
Nefertiti.
I
know it wasn't Titi, but I was thinking it was Nefertiti.
And the other thing to remember with the Egyptians as well is they had access to the other side of what is now the Suez Canal, whereas the Europeans and the rest of the Mediterranean didn't have that, which was where a lot of the advancement was happening in that period.
Hatshepsut.
Oh, Hatshepsut. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Now,
So it's important to remember they did have that advantage as well. They weren't just stuck in the Mediterranean like, say, the Romans were later.
I think personally,
Hatshepsut.
Hang on.
Here, I'll put it in the
Ed,
chat
yep.
real quick too.
Yeah.
Straight away. Yep.
I don't think we give ancient people enough credit for technology that they might have had that I don't think they could have. They could have.
I actually find it disparaging to humans to suggest that all of our great achievements must have come from outside.
Yeah. I don't see why they couldn't have gone transatlantic. They could have built boats big enough for that and survived.
They did. Even the Norse made it across. So
exactly.
It was the consistently being able to do that. They needed the bigger, more stable boats that came later to be able to make those trips all the time and the better navigation. Because
there we go. So that's some hieroglyphs in Australia.
Interesting.
Oh wow.
That's in, I believe, Gosford, which is just north of Sydney. So we're not even west coast; it's east coast. And there have been Roman coins that have actually been found in Australia as well, in Western Australia.
Well, because we're that close to Indonesia, and of course the Roman Empire went all the way across, and they were moving down into those areas. So coming across,
the empire itself didn't, but they certainly
the outer reaches. There was contact.
There was contact. I mean, it's the Greeks went further than the Romans ever did. The Romans they more went west and sort of up to England and all that kind of stuff. So, it was. Yeah, there was definitely trade happening. I guess that's the key thing. So there was that contact between the different areas, and the other thing too is what you've got to remember with the South Americans, the American Indians in general, they only crossed into America 10,000 years ago. So there's not a lot of disconnect between them and mainland Asia and Europe. So. What context was going on back then, I don't know. Oh no! Sorry, you throw something out there, and we've just gone debunk.
And let's not forget that architecture in general is a child of solving problems, right? Like, there's a reason that you can go to almost any culture in the world, and a house basically looks the same. Now, it might have a completely different artistic flair, but because it solves the same needs, the roof, and there are certain things that are this is the best way to solve these issues. There's a reason most of these roofs are pointed, because the rain sloughs off. There's a reason that we use doors that are roughly the same size, because they're comfortable to fit through as a humanoid being,
I still want the round doors.
The round doors are cool, but they're not very efficient,
Who said anything about efficiency?
They are very cool, though. Very cool.
And to answer Godless Granny's question from earlier, the Godless Granny's question about could Noah have built a flood to solve? I know she was joking.
Could Noah have built
the flood? No, he couldn't. The largest wooden boat that we've ever been able to build with our more modern technology was just slightly over half the size of the supposed Noah's Ark. The fact of the matter is, wood is not strong enough to be built at that size. It would just fall apart.
That's not true, and I can prove it. There is a bigger wooden boat than the one you're talking about.
What you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not in the water. Well, it nearly.
I know this is your show, but fuck off.
Ken Ham wouldn't lie. I mean, he on a chance. I mean, how can you not believe Ken Ham?
Well, we all know that God gifted those people things like, backhoes and, concrete and steel to build their ship with. That's just what God did.
Well, when you're living to 900 years of age, I mean, you've probably got a bit more time to do stuff and learn stuff. I mean, it's a pretty good run. I mean, And then, when it's all over, you celebrate by planting a vineyard, getting drunk, and passing out naked.
How many sons and son-in-laws did Noah have?
Three sons. 3 sons.
Okay,
yeah,
and
so
he helped him build it. So
Yeah, there was only 8 of them.
he didn't have daughters. They had wives. I mean, Noah didn't have daughters. I mean,
Noah
he was
didn't
a
have
strong
daughters.
man of
Okay,
God.
so there were 4 of them building this boat.
Yeah.
This boat larger than any wooden boat that we have ever built, and those large wooden boats. Shut up. Actual boats that can float. The largest one we ever built back in the day when we did it, which would have been mostly with hand tools, not all of it, but mostly. It took them 5 years to build that, and I can't remember what the name of the boat was. Yeah, it's eluding me. So, and they would have had hundreds of people working on that. So, how many years did it take Noah to build the ark?
Well, Granny's just said in the chat, AIG, and AIG would know, they say that lots of people helped build it, then died in the flood.
Oh,
so more proof that God's an asshole.
Or at the very least, Noah was an asshole.
God's not an asshole. He doesn't exist.
Come build my boat, and I will, give you a spot on the ship when the flood comes. Just kidding, die.
Something I've just realized, and this might seem silly, like because I happen to have Genesis 6 open. Noah had 3 sons: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So I'm just looking at Shenham. Do you think it could be the great man himself?
I ain't even going to entertain that one. No.
No.
All right. So I guess
I've heard Ken Ham speak. He's a douche.
Oh, he's a giant douche.
Have you guys ever played Halo? I'm just curious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They did something really interesting with the flood myth and aliens. In their flood myth, essentially the flood was a biological organism that was going to destroy the world, and the ark was essentially a spaceship sent to Earth to preserve life. Pretty interesting. Actually.
A lot of UFO cults will have a similar thing, actually. Where they say that that the flood was, the ark was a spaceship, and it was actually samples of the animals and genetic testing and all genetic samples, all that kind of thing. So it's that seems to be I think Halo's more believable personally. But,
well, I'm saying a little more believable than the wooden boat and the actual flood is spaceships and samples.
You're just saying that because you want to sin, Ansgar, and you hate God.
You know what?
Maybe
it was a
thing that Master Zenith said in the chat, where he said the nails only last 20 years. Okay, Granny said it took 100 years to build the ark. It would be like the it'd be like the Harbour Bridge in Sydney. By the time you got partway through it, you'd have to go back to the beginning and start rebuilding it because it's already falling apart from age. They would never get it finished.
I'll play advocate here. They probably used wooden pegs anyway if it was built back then.
But the wood would start to rot. I mean, just look at Ken Ham's ark.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, he did get what was it? Insurance for water damage.
Are you saying I had insurance?
God gifted them with stainless steel, you heathen.
and then took it back. That's why we can't find it.
That's right.
Yeah, don't forget magic. I mean, magic solves everything.
Exactly.
I think maybe if God was going to magic it, why didn't he just give them a fucking magic boat?
Maybe he did.
No, because it says that he made Noah build it.
Well, maybe it came in a kit and some assembly was required.
It was like heavenly IKEA.
I've got images of a big Aerofix kit.
And you know what? That would make sense because it takes you 100 years to put anything from IKEA together.
Yeah, I was going to say let's hope IKEA didn't make it for God.
Was it Swedish? Swedish and plastic.
You'll get them good bolts.
Didn't you just get something from
IKEA? Sorry to any of Chris's viewers who are Swedish. That was a shit accent.
I don't know. It was very good. Yeah,
Didn't you just get something from Chris? Didn't you just get something from IKEA?
Not that I'm aware
Wasn't
of.
that you? Who the hell was it? Maybe it was Sam.
No.
Okay, I
Yeah,
have
Sam,
to know,
he's doing the move at the
are you
moment.
wearing a gi?
No, it's my my robes.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why I thought it was a gi. You know,
no. These are just my robes.
These are your Buddhist robes. Cool.
Yep.
I just
All
have
right,
to know.
so I'm going
They
to go
look cool.
to Ezekiel.
They're
Now,
comfy as hell.
I'm going to do something here, and I'm going to read from the Bible. Okay,
Not the
I
first
know
time.
this
Can
is-
I
I'm
take
gonna-
my earplug out?
I'm even going to get my old pastor's voice in so I can do it with passion as I talk about the Bible.
Do we all have to say "Praise God" at the end?
No, praise
No, but-
Jesus.
Praise Jesus.
Jesus.
Amen. Amen.
Jesus.
Praise Jesus.
Well,
Oh,
I
my
know
God.
that God and Jesus exist because they're here. We even have the son of Thor,
Son of Odin.
and then there's me and Jen.
Yeah. We're just your
Yeah,
normal mortals.
We're just the eye candy. We'll go with that. Okay, so I'm going to go to
It
Ezekiel.
could be reincarnation of Aphrodite.
Who, me?
No, not Aphrodite. The hermaphrodite one. I can't remember what she's called.
I don't know. Athena, maybe Athena, the most beautiful woman in all of Greece.
No, that's definitely not Athena. Who was the? Okay, I'm confused now.
All right. Well, you look that up while I read from the
Look that
Bible.
up.
So I'll just to bring up my old pastor. All right, everyone, open your Bibles to Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4. So I
don't
looked.
have mine handy.
I'm shocked. You should know it off the top of your head. So I looked and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by brilliant light. The center of the fire looked like glowing metal, and in the fire was what looked like 4 living creatures. In appearance, their form was human, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. Their legs were straight, their feet were like those of a calf and gleamed like burnished bronze. Under the wings on the 4 sides, they had human hands. All 4 of them had faces and wings, and the wings of one touched the wings of another. Each one went straight ahead, and they did not turn as they moved. So, what do we think? Is that this is one that they often go to as the UFO, or the beginning? There is a lot more that we can go into.
Sounds like
sort of.
Sounds to me like they were trying to what's the word? Make sense of the Egyptian gods.
Possibly. Well, it also says the appearance. Each one went straight ahead. Wherever the spirit would go, they would go, without turning as they went. The appearance of the living creatures was like burning coals of fire or like torches. Fire moved back and forth among the creatures. It was bright and lightning flashed out of it. The creatures sped back and forth like flashes of lightning. As I looked at the living creatures, I saw a wheel on the ground beside each creature with 4 faces. This was the appearance and structure of the wheels. So it's sort of it's just, and then it goes to it could go in any one of the 4 directions the creature faced. The wheels did not change direction as the creatures went. The rims were high and awesome, and all 4 rims were full of eyes and all around. Now, people will often describe this this wheel as a UFO. This is probably one of the most famous examples of ancient aliens or ufology in the Bible. So what do we reckon? What do we think?
I reckon the descriptions of the angels are bloody horrific.
Either angels built themselves power armor out of bronze,
I like that.
or it sounds to me. It sounds to me honestly like they're describing a meteorite. Or something like that, and then you've got generations of oral tradition that twists it.
I was thinking it proves that LSD was actually invented by the ancient Hebrews.
That's what oral tradition
that is some
is.
trippy shit.
Or just really rotten
oral tradition.
Ancient beer. Honestly, just really rotten
Possibly.
ancient beer. Oh yeah, you could get some really trippy visions off that shit.
Yeah. Now this was written at a time where they were in captivity, in Babylon. So they were essentially slaves. They were displaced people. they were looking for some nationalistic identity. It says the year of the exile, or the 5th year of the exile, King Jehoiakim.
Or maybe they just got punked by Babylonians that literally lit wheels on fire and dressed up in funny costumes.
What? You know what? Once again, more plausible. More plausible. So that's one that they often go to. So I don't know. It's look, I'm open to the possibility. I guess I don't think it's the case. I don't actually think aliens have visited Earth. So
no,
I don't think it's likely. I think that the distance is too much. I think even if there was hyper intelligent life out there, how are they going to get to us?
Teleportation.
The god I was looking for, or demigod, was Hermaphroditus, the intersexed child of Aphrodite and Hermes.
Hermes.
That's where
Hermes
the term
was
hermaphrodite comes from.
Hermes was a pimp.
he was trouble, old Hermes.
This description is one of the more interesting ones because I've seen people compare like having eyes all around to having like maybe like porthole style windows all around like a disc shaped object. It is a rather evocative image that this paints. I'm not convinced by it that this was aliens, but I can see where somebody would find it interesting. And certainly as somebody who loves to write fiction, when it comes to science fiction and fantasy, it's something that would be fun to play with.
So to be clear, you're not saying it's aliens, but
it's aliens. Okay,
you got to get the hands though. Aliens.
Not saying
you know, if my hair was a bit longer, I would have done the whole Giorgio hairstyle because it's that's a cool hairstyle. It's very Centauri. For anyone who's watched Babylon 5, it is very Centauri. Mm-hmm. No one's watched Babylon 5, have they?
No.
I have. I love Babylon 5.
I haven't been able to watch it.
I love Babylon 5.
The greatest science fiction ever. Like
it's brilliant.
It is the greatest science fiction ever. And as a comic fan, Ansgar, you'd love it because it's JMS who wrote J. Michael Straczynski.
No,
who's written some of the he did the whole Superman Year One, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I'll probably check it out at some point. Yeah,
it's worth it. Yeah, absolutely worth it. It's without a doubt the greatest science fiction ever. Anyway, actually, we've got an interesting from Nock. I think more and more evidence indicates that aliens have been here. World governments have changed their position and are now realizing more and more information, still not enough data. Interesting. Actually, Nock, if you want to jump in, I'm happy to send you a link actually, because I'd actually really like to explore that thought. So, mate, I'll send you a link on Twitter if you can jump in, mate. That would be that'd be cool to discuss that with you. So anyway, you guys keep talking.
While yourself for paying attention, Chris. I've got some pictures of how the Bible describes the angels. A couple of different ones. So.
Give me
and it's nothing like you think angels look.
Now, personally, I still stick with there could have been cultures that had some kind of, what some people would think was advanced technology, even though to us it really wouldn't be. But the first time people saw planes, what the hell is that?
Mm-hmm.
So why couldn't we built some kind of, war or something, and people thought, oh, it must come from the gods.
I don't know if I can zoom that anymore for you. Hang on.
I mean, imagine being like an ancient Goth or something like that and seeing Rome for the first time. What that must have been like, Well,
are you all familiar with the cargo cults? Cool. So for those who don't know, so what happened in the Second World War? The US actually put themselves on a lot of islands in the Pacific that hadn't really had any contact with the outside world. They built airstrips and things along those lines.
Yep.
What happened years later when they went back was they found that the people who lived there had actually gone and built airstrips and air towers and things like that as a sign to their gods. And I think they had John Navy was like one of their gods, which was just like a John from the Navy sort of thing.
Chris, maybe you can help me with this one. I can't remember where it's at. I think maybe somewhere one of the islands near India or Indonesia where there's a tribe who thinks Prince Charles is God.
No. So Prince Philip, that's the Tana Island. Yeah. So they actually, so their belief was that there would be a great female leader, and that great female leader, her husband would be their god. Yeah. So that was the belief that they had, and they worship Prince Philip, which I think is just funny because like Prince Philip is probably one of the he's like an old school racist. That dude, he's just like,
I know.
So to have an island worshiping him is funny.
Hey, what's
Doc,
up?
how are you, man? What's happening?
Oh, pretty good. I'm waking up. I don't got too long. I got to be on the damn show here in about 20 minutes. But yeah, this was an interesting topic that I've been like really interested in. My position is that I don't think aliens exist, but I am less and less convinced almost every day.
I think aliens.
So
I think aliens
would you say
exist.
about
They just don't
ancient
visit.
Well, yeah, I think they
you don't
exist, but
think
they haven't visited. Yeah, I don't think they've been able to get here.
No.
But as I was mentioning, like world governments. So it started with Russia, but who trusts Russia? But Russia released like a crap load of information about underwater UFOs. But even here recently, the USA has started under the Trump administration has started to release some of their information. And while, like I said, there's not enough data to say, "Oh, that's aliens," there is. I think that there's enough data to say that there's something in the sky that we can't explain. Whether it's a country far more advanced than we would have ever thought, but there does seem to be some evidence that something's in the sky that we can't quite explain.
To me, too many of those things have been debunked as things like ducks and shit like that and people misunderstanding camera angles.
I agree. I agree. I think most of it is a bunch of just bullshit. Like the whole ancient aliens theory. Huh?
What about the Foo Fighters in the Second World War that was seen by both sides?
Yeah, well, there's stories like that, but again, like stuff like that could be hallucinations, things during war, like your adrenaline's pumping, you're going to see things that you're just not normally seeing. So like I don't take much.
Too.
Yeah, altered memories, stuff like that. I don't really take seriously. It's when the government start like changing their positions, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna not be so quick to say that this isn't what's happening. But again, like I don't think that there's enough data to really make a conclusion.
What happened to Jen?
I accidentally kicked her. That was completely accidental.
I think we need to cancel you now. I am triggered.
Oh yeah, you're canceled for sure now.
I'm sorry, Jen. I'm sorry, but so what happened?
What did you do?
You actually had two screens up, and I thought one was the screen share. So I was. What I thought was dropping out the screen share, but no, I dropped out Jen altogether.
Well,
this is why I have a producer, and I should stop being.
I got rid of the screen share. I stopped sharing.
Do his thing.
Oh well.
Yeah, I think we're right. Cancel Chris. Yeah, I'll put that one.
Yep.
That's all right.
Look, I get cancelled every day. I mean, like it's every day I do something, especially on Twitter, that gets me cancelled. So it's like, if I don't get cancelled, I'm more disappointed.
You I get fun every now and then, and I'm a good option to kick because it's funny.
It is funny. You're right. It's always funny to just do that.
Especially if I'm in the middle of talking. If I'm talking lots and you want to get rid of me.
Yep. Yeah, we can just do that. That's 100%.
She was going for that.
Even know, and then I can just keep talking, and you just don't know.
There we go. See,
that was really hard to fill all that space in.
I'm actually thoroughly impressed that you've done very. I can see you still talking there in the background. I'm like, damn, she's committed to this.
Before we go any further, I want to show you guys something. I got this in the mail yesterday.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's gorgeous.
Cool. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Our boy Ed made this for me and Raven.
He does
Nice,
good,
man.
that Ed.
Nice.
He goes well.
Really good. So I wanted to. It will be up here at some point. I'm just not exactly sure where I'm going to put it yet.
I've got my my St. George tile that's going up soon. Don't you worry.
It is really good, and I really, really like it. Thank you so much, man.
You're welcome, brother.
What do you guys
it's
think
awesome.
about the idea of panspermia?
Refresh.
You're gonna have to explain
It's
that one.
the idea that perhaps let's say an alien planet, right? It blows up, and a piece of it hits Earth and seeds it with life, which is where life comes from here on Earth.
I think that's one of the possibilities, and a far likely more possibility than like a Grandmaster of the Universe did it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of like the engineer's version from the Alien Covenant.
yeah, Naka, didn't you cover that once before?
Yeah, well, yeah. There's some scientific theory out there that would indicate that this is at least being considered as a possibility. But I think I covered it more kind of like making fun of it than giving it.
One of the reasons it's being considered. One of the
Isn't it?
reasons it's being considered is because our genetic, if you go and you look at the genetic heritage, let's say, of all life on Earth, right? Our genetic code is older than the Earth has been habitable. So there are several potential options, and then it could be something we don't know. But one of the things that was originally proposed is perhaps during because there were moments where the Earth might have been habitable, and then then it was uninhabitable, then habitable, then uninhabitable. There's a very good chance that something like a massive eruption or again a meteorite strike could have thrown. And we now know from NASA experiments that there are many single-celled organisms on this Earth that can survive in space a long time. So it hitches a ride, it crashes into the ocean, life restarts on the planet. We get another strike, Earth becomes uninhabitable. It hitches a ride on a chunk, essentially crashes back down, life restarts. So life may have restarted several times. So it's not that hard to imagine. Well, what if it started even further back, and we're talking it was ejected from another planet entirely?
I definitely think
that's something I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it's possible. And I think that there's even maybe some Bible references that I've talked about in the past that refers to it. Jesus says something like, man will never go to the stars, but man has come from the stars, something along those lines. But like, I know, like, what's funny is like I said, I consider this to be like a greater possibility than the God figure. But Christians will literally laugh at you if you bring this up as a possibility of how life started on Earth. You're one of those Star Wars atheists.
So I definitely think it's more likely than the biblical version, but that's only because I believe with all my heart that there is no God.
Yeah,
I do not believe the biblical take on it. So
yeah, I'm 100% certain that Yahweh did not create the universe. 100%.
You and me both.
I'll put myself in that camp.
What I'll throw out there is, I guess, for everyone who's in the chat, I'd be interested to see what everyone thinks. So, if you think that that Ancient Aliens is likely, give us a 1. If you think it's not likely, give us a 2. But if you're not sure, you're sitting on the fence, maybe throw us a 3. Because it's a possibility, but I guess you're agnostic on it. I'd be really interested to see what sort of comes through. And so far, we've only got something from Jay, but there is a 20-second delay, I guess. So, yeah, well done, Jay. People are just going to be going, "Why is there a 1 in there?" So, I mean, I'll throw in one. I'm definitely a 2. So it's
Granny's a 3. So is Nerdy.
I'm going to put in a 2+ because I am absolutely confident that Ancient Aliens is not a thing.
Yeah, me too. And because I made that comment about more evidence is coming out, but that's for unexplained phenomena in the sky and the seas. Like when it comes to Ancient Aliens, I do not believe it. And if if you really want some like good information on this digital Hammurabi, you'll have to go back and find Megan's video on it. But she made a really good video kind of exposing the kind of fake history behind ancient aliens.
They do a lot of twisting too, where they go like, look at this pyramid, you know, this many of the walls are so perfect that you can't slip a hair under the thing. It's like, no, that's one little piece of one stone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got one thing perfect
of a million right.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like her big beef is like, if you study the ancient aliens, is they're not getting scholars from the actual field. They're getting scholars, but they're talking about a field that they're not scholarly in. So that's a huge problem with the ancient alien theory.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, they're looking at it as if the Bible was written when people say the Bible was written, and we know for a fact that Genesis, pretty much the entire Old Testament was written 500 BC, or thereabouts in Babylonian captivity. It wasn't written 4,000 years ago.
I think there's a huge assumption in general that our ancestors had no imagination. Like there's an assumption that any piece of art, they must have literally seen that thing. It's like, well, why not? Why assume that it's not just art?
I've never really figured
how
that
advanced
out.
the ancients were. Sorry.
Yeah, I never figured out how like modern humans, like anything pre-industrial revolution, they were just walking monkeys. Like they had no brains. They had, like 2,000 years ago, they were probably feeling the same emotions we're feeling. They were working things out just like we're working them out. You can't just automatically equivocate that these people were just very, very stupid.
Yeah.
No, well, I'm actually reading some ancient Roman poetry at the moment. So by a guy called Catullus. And you read some of this stuff, and it's his attitude towards life is very similar to it. Actually, he would have been perfect on Twitter. This guy, because he wrote a stack of love poems to, he was in love with this girl called Lesbia, and he was, you're skinny, you're the most beautiful, this and that, and then he gets into this one where he's like, it's a letter to two of his friends. Hey, you basically called me a sissy for the way I talk about. Her, well, I'll have I'll come over there and I'll fuck you both up the ass and I'll do this to you and I'll do that to you and I'll show you my manhood. I'm reading this just going, damn, this guy from 2,000 years ago belongs on Twitter. Absolutely belongs on Twitter. I'm actually contemplating writing a paper on. I'm actually contemplating writing a paper on Catullus being the original keyboard warrior. Because it's just, but I guess it gets to the point that ancient people weren't just these dopey cavemen. They were as intelligent as any of us. We've just been blessed, for lack of a better term, by being born when we were born with the technology already advanced to the level we are. I mean, we're all doing this over the internet right now. If for some reason technology disappeared tomorrow, I can assure you, I couldn't build myself a computer from scratch and then have it broadcast to. Yeah, but you're too far away to help me.
Whoa, could you actually build the individual chips?
I could build a passive component if I could find the passive components. I could probably build a passive component computer. It wouldn't be particularly powerful, but I could probably build one.
So I have to take umbrage with Brainbug, who is insisting that Godzilla might be fictional. And sir, I have Godzilla right here, and he can even say something to you. See, look at that. Look. This is proof Godzilla exists, and he even had something to say. So I am sorry, but aliens may be fictional, but Godzilla is quite real. Thank you.
Well, Godzilla's more likely than the Flood, I think so.
Well, yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. You're going to get in trouble with all the Christians that harass me about talking about the Flood, Chris. So.
Oh, God.
Oh, we already did the Flood.
You know what? You know how disappointed I am lately? I have had virtually no Christian trolls. I mean, ever since Darth Dawkins, they've all kind of backed off me and want to have like nice conversations with me.
I had Darth in the chat last night.
Oh, really? So I thought something bad had happened to Darth. I was genuinely worried about him at one point.
And you saw him last week when he went after me.
Hey, well, actually, what I liked was the theory that Ed was actually Darth.
Yeah,
Who the hell said that?
somebody said I sound like him. My voice
it
sounds
was,
similar to his.
Puck actually said when we did
Yeah,
the
that's right. It
interview
was
the other
Puck,
night,
yeah.
and he asked, he wanted Ed to repeat this one of Darth's favorite, famous lines, and Ed sort of they're going, yeah, what's this mean? And it's like, we've got a theory that Ed's Darth. I'm like,
the only legitimate troll I've ever had on my channel, and this is true, was legitimately he was a pagan Nazi, an actual pagan Nazi.
Yeah,
one of those.
And he was very, very upset that I was not also a pagan considering my name. And he was demanding that I change my name to stop disgracing his ancestors. And he made a couple videos. He made a couple videos. And then he made, this was the best part. He was previewing some merch. He had a new t-shirt for his channel. And he made this video and I swear to God, it looked like Nazi gay porn. He's sitting there going, yeah, looking good. He's got this big knife. He's like, see you boys in the race war. I was like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah,
Ed, you need to find that, Ed.
Yeah, Ansgar, you got to send me a link for that, dude. I'll put him on the list.
Well, unfortunately, what happened was he made a video so egregious telling his followers to go to my channel and fuck with me that his own followers or his own subscribers reported him and got his channel deleted.
I was gonna say, like, people like that, they don't have long on YouTube anymore if they're still on. So.
I'm sure I could probably find him on BitChute. You'll have to give me his name.
Yeah, you can find anything on BitChute.
I'll see what I can. I'll see what I can get for you.
All right.
But see, now I'll get to you.
Well, I was just gonna say I got to dip out because I told Chris I'd be on this morning. So you guys, this was a great conversation. There's actually a lot of passages in the New Testament, especially the Gospels, that could be translated as UFOs. So this was an interesting topic. Hopefully, you'll get Bobby on.
We might have to do a part two. We'll do the New Testament next time.
We'll definitely do it again because we want Bobby.
Send me an invite for that
you
one.
Maybe it's a midweek, Chris, so you can have a bit bigger panel. Why not?
Oh yeah. See you guys later. Y'all have a good one.
You too, mate. You too. So yes. So I had a really good point I was actually going to bring up, but that's it. I was going to say the only trolls I get now, I don't get the Christian trolls. I only get the social justice warrior trolls. They hate me. Holy shit.
Twitter,
oh my God. Did you poke the hornet's nest this morning? I saw that.
And I know the thing is, I completely understand what Chris was saying, and I didn't see anything wrong with it. Oh my God.
All he's saying is, listen, I need some escapism. This is no longer escapism right now, so I'm out. And they're like, ah!
But I'll throw another example. So the Dragons, my rugby league team, last year it came out that they were going to boycott a game in protest to something that was going on with the team. I saw that and I had the same reaction. Well, if they're gonna boycott, well fuck them. I put my money in. I support them. The reason that they've got these $1 million jobs is because my hard-earned money goes in to support them. If this is their attitude, screw them. And I look at it this way with the NBA player, not wanting to stay on the politics thing too much. Politics and sport, it pisses me off. It pisses me off. It's just, I just want to watch a game, and somehow people took that as me going, well, if they're going to boycott, I'll boycott them. Yeah, that's fine. There's two can play at that game. I'm sick of multimillionaires lecturing me about politics. And the same goes for people in the entertainment industry. All these celebrities think that, that they, and look, I guess everyone uses their platform, but I'm just sick of it. There's enough going on in the world right now. I just want to watch people throw a ball.
Shit's pretty stressful right now, if I'm honest.
Yeah. And out of that, it turned into, there was one I really loved, and they said that I had no problems with the US military and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm not even American. And sorry to the Americans here, but I see all the U.S. military stuff at the the America, the great and all that kind of stuff at things. I'm just like, oh fuck, do we have to go through this again? Because
Americans we're a weird bunch. Like we just expect everybody else to be engaged with our politics and to like their entire conversation. We expect you to like sort of structure your conversations about politics around our politics. We're a weird country, man.
Actually, what was funny was I was having a conversation about abolishing the states in Australia, and I think it was actually with Jen on Twitter. And I've put and someone's just jumped in and said, "Well, you can't." And I'm just going, "Yeah, you can. It's just a referendum." And then it's like, "No, it's got to go through this arguing." Then it's like, "It's got to go through Congress." I'm like, "Okay, you're American. We're not talking about America." And me and Jen then continue the conversation, and then this person's doubled down. I'm like, "You might want to look back up. We're not talking about America. We're not Americans." But there is a lot of that. There is a lot of American assumption, I think, in American. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, that being said, I actually like Americans. I get on with most Americans I speak to, apart from the Twitter warriors.
And I'd like to point out to anybody who wants to see how you can have a major disagreement with somebody and still be friends with them and not be rude and obnoxious, go and look at that conversation between me and Chris, because I thoroughly disagree with him. But we were nice and amicable and everything.
Yeah, Jen, you and I have had more than one Twitter disagreement.
Oh, we've had some fucking good ones, Ansgar. We have.
And I love the hell out of you.
That whole thing of social justice, I consider myself a social justice advocate.
I love social justice advocates. I love them.
I do not like the term. It's not that I don't like the term social justice warrior, but it's become synonymous with something that it wasn't originally now because of that extremism. So
I think the moment you add warrior to your label, you are encouraging a sort of adversarial.
You have the same problem when you add activist to it as well.
Yeah. Fair enough.
To a certain degree, a lot of people, if you say, I'm a women's rights activist or I'm a trans rights activist, and people go, "Oh, you're a fuck knuckle."
To be honest,
they instantly do.
I've just forsaken as many labels as possible. Like I don't want to join any tribes, while I am generally left voting, right? I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, because I feel like the moment you say this is my team, it affects the way you think about everything. Right. And it certainly affects the way people make assumptions about the things that you think. And I would rather just take individual positions because, I'll come in and I'll see, let's say, a feminist and an MRA arguing. And I'm like, okay, you have an interesting point that you've taken too far. You have an interesting point that you've taken too far. And both of you can't see the forest through the fucking trees.
Well, and that's something I see. It's amazing how. Like it's it's a tribal issue. It's one side will put something out, and people who follow that side they agree with it and they will retweet it, and other side bad. At all costs, and you see it in the US, you see it in Australia, you see it all over the world. It's interesting. I think it's
and none of us are
part
immune.
of our evolution. No,
None
it's
of us are
evolutionary. It's part of who we are. It's part of our makeup. We're a social species that sticks with our tribe.
Mm-hmm.
We are what we are.
Do you like how as soon as you call somebody out, no matter who you call it, as soon as you call somebody out for their fucking shit idea, you instantly get labeled with whatever label it is they consider as the opposite to them.
Oh yeah.
Even if you're not that, you are instantly thrown into this thing, and I'm like.
Virtually today for saying I didn't want to. I was going to boycott the NBA. Yeah. If they're going to boycott games, well, I'll boycott them. That all of a sudden I'm against BLM, which I've got opinions on that. I'm not going to get into now. I'm against this. I'm against that. I was for the American military. It's just like
for a simple example,
there are some mind readers.
Just for a simple example, I saw somebody who was a mutual retweeting a thing about, oh look, Melania Trump, she's such a slut, basically just showing all these pictures. I don't want to to live in a country where my kids can see the first lady naked or whatever. And I called it out. I said, listen, I'd vote for a sex worker if I felt that he or she was an amazing candidate. I don't care.
Exactly.
Like if you're searching for criticisms of Melania Trump and the only thing you can do is slam her sexuality, you are fucking intellectually bankrupt. And instantly people are calling me a fucking MAGA Trump supporter. It's like you have no idea who you're talking to.
I mean, there are so many other things you can slam Melania for,
right?
And her previous work history is not one of them that you should be touching.
No,
I'm going to throw this out there. Now, imagine for a second it came out that Kamala Harris had, back in the day, taken a few topless pictures for a boyfriend and they were put out there. Can you imagine the reaction? There would be war. How dare they put these out? But the same people will happily share pictures of Melania Trump. The same people. Yeah, they'll say, what Bill Clinton did. Bill Clinton. We got to blame.
Don't slut shame unless it's a slut outside of our tribe.
I must admit,
hang on a second, it's Stormy Daniels and Donald Trump had consensual sex. He's a rapist.
I must admit, I permanently ruined my chances of ever being elected anywhere in Australia with the last couple of videos I put out.
I don't know. I think
everyone be quiet. Ed's talking.
I've had just recently, I can't remember when it was. It was, I don't know, a couple of days ago, in a Facebook, back and forth on somebody's post. Someone jumped in there and said, "You do realize this guy is a former Nazi?" And I'm like, "Yeah, everybody knows that. So why should we, believe that you're not a Nazi?" Because I'm responding to this saying how it's wrong. Where are you going with this? So I'm a race traitor / fascist now. I don't know.
Well, I had a conversation with Darth Dawkins. Does that make me a presuppositional Christian?
Yes.
I love how quick you answered that, and it's a definite article.
just yes.
Yes, there's no debate here. Yes.
I'm going to make myself the new Darth Dawkins. Look out. I'll be Darth Dawkins with
the problem with this is you'd actually be good at it.
The thing is, and it's, I almost feel sorry when I hear some of these Christian debaters, because I think I almost want to help them because I know how they can do, but I'm just like, use this argument, use that argument, stop going to the fucking watchmaker. Although I love it when a Christian throws out the watchmaker at me. Well, if you saw a watch, it's like, and it's just like, no, stop. Don't do the watchmaker. Please don't do the watchmaker.
It's always exactly the same arguments, Chris.
Just look in the mirror. Why? Like, that proves nothing. It shows my reflection. It doesn't prove that God exists.
My favorite one though is atheist believes that everything came from nothing. No.
Yeah. Nope.
You believe that something came from nothing.
Yeah.
Atheists don't.
You believe God spoke it all into existence.
It was nothing. Now it's something. That's you guys, not atheists.
And my favorite is, so you believe that you're related to a pine tree. Elephants and pine trees are related.
To be fair,
sort of.
all living organisms on Earth are related. But that's the point of evolution, you dimwits.
Not very closely related.
Yeah, through his head, though.
Not very closely related. No. Very distant cousins. It's only in Alabama where they breed.
I truly wish there was a decent. I would love to have a decent debate or a decent discussion with a knowledgeable Christian apologist who could throw just a different argument, not one of the millions that have been debunked. Because they basically they get trained in the same arguments. That it's the preaching to your audience argument. Mm-hmm. And that's why you hear the same stuff. And that's why every time I keep hearing it's like, oh, okay, well, it's look at the banana. Oh, fuck.
No, for fuck's sake. Okay.
How old is that pic of you and Raven, Jay?
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
That was our wedding. 12 years ago.
It's absolutely gorgeous. You guys are a gorgeous couple. Absolutely beautiful, Raven.
You got a bit of a Mick Foley happening.
A little bit.
Yeah. You do the Mick Foley, you do the Jake the Snake, mate.
Yeah.
How do you go in the ring?
Huh?
How do you go in the ring?
Absolutely gorgeous, Raven. The two of you are a beautiful couple.
Well, Raven is.
Well, yeah.
Raven's a beautiful couple, all right.
Brainbug, bring on the darts anytime. Darts is my favorite. So,
I was going to say, Chris, just to get back on topic for a second, I have one question for you. Do you find the notion that the Bible is misinterpreted, alien contact, more or less convincing? I mean, no, we're both not convinced, right? But would you find that more convincing or less convincing than the actual like God, a literal translation of the Bible?
I would say aliens would be more convincing, but the only reason I would say that is, well, one, because I'm a pure atheist. Like, even I'm a Steve McRae calls me an atheist. That's how atheist I am.
Same here. Same here.
Steve knows I say that, so I often joke about that with him.
Steve doesn't think you're a rock.
No, I'm not. The next
I had to go there. I'm so sorry.
It's believed that they all came from rocks and that they are rocks. I mean, Hoven's going to have a field day with that. But anyway, so I look at it this way. So the Old Testament of the Bible is basically a copy of other myths from the region. But what they did was the Jews were in Babylonian captivity at the time. They were trying to get a nationalistic identity to go and reclaim their lands, and that's why stories like King David, King Solomon. I mean, they were probably smaller, like regional rulers rather than the great kings that they're portrayed to be. Things like the flood myth. I mean, the flood myth is that's in a number of other cultures from the region. Even things like the Exodus, stories like that. It's essentially copied from other stories in this. So I wouldn't discount that there is a possibility. If I were to say, were those other stories likely the result of a god, or is it more likely aliens? I would say it's more likely aliens, because I think aliens is something that we can actually demonstrate likely exists in the universe, even though it's unlikely that they have ever come here. I think we can actually demonstrate that they exist, whereas I will maintain that there is no God, there is no divine creator who created the universe. That's
Fair
the
enough.
long answer.
Yeah. No, I can get behind that. I think I think you said it better than I could. I would find it more convincing. I don't find it convincing, but certainly more convincing than a supernatural God.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it possible that, I mean, look, with our technology at the moment, we know that we can't travel to other star systems. Does that mean that it's something that's impossible? Well, no, it's not impossible. But,
we know it's possible. We're not. It probably isn't possible within a human lifespan, the human lifespan we have at the moment. Not without taking relativistic effects into consideration, in which case you go in your lifetime, but you wouldn't go in the lifetime of the people who are back on Earth.
Unless we can figure out how to, harness an Einstein-Rosen bridge or folding space or something like that.
We need spice.
We need spice. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Get a little bit of seasoning salt and pour it on the engine, and you're fine.
Yep, that's right.
The old cracker out. All right. We've actually just hit the hour and a half mark, so we might actually. Yeah.
Oh, we did see.
This has been a very sensible stream.
It has. I haven't even been that rude.
Hard to be rude to somebody.
I don't start a kind of
to somebody, just rude in general.
Just tell me to fuck off or something. It'll make it more authentic.
But I don't want to, Ansgar, because I like you.
Damn it!
All right, tell me to fuck off.
I like you too.
I like you too. I like all of you. That's the problem, mate. I don't like telling people I like.
Yeah, but you tell me to fuck off all the time.
I do, but you normally have said something to me first. Oh, and I paused.
You paused like you had like cranky Jen face.
Yeah. Chris didn't mute her.
I did.
Enough.
I usually say screw you, Jay. Actually,
there you
no,
go.
I don't
Damn it, Jen.
Yeah, screw you, Jay.
All right. Well, look, we might call it a night there. Thank you, everyone, for coming along. Look, the links are all going to be below in the description. I've just got to get Ansgar's in there. Definitely go check out Ansgar's channel. I had a lot of fun there last week. That was a really cool discussion.
Ansgar is awesome.
Oh, thank you guys. And it was a fun stream. I enjoyed having it. And Jen, we got to get you on the channel too.
Oh, don't
sure.
do
I
it.
have to get you on one of my news chats.
I would love
The
to.
news
Yeah.
joke. I'm doing one on Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
I'll have to figure out what that time. 9 Eastern. Okay, yeah, I could probably do that.
It's 8 p.m. for you, Ansgar.
Yeah, 8 p.m.
Because
Yeah,
you're across the lake from me, so.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Maybe when there isn't a killer virus in the air, we'll have to hook up and like have a beer or something.
Yeah. Knock's not that far away he's only a couple hours from me too, so.
Well, that's going to make it
right
really easy when I come over and visit you all and we do the 6-pack live panel.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah!
Because everybody just congregate into Chicago and we'll be all right.
Oh fuck me, with stupid computer. I so have to try and time to be there as well.
Yeah, we've got to do it. It would be actually a really cool thing to do. It'd be really cool.
It would.
And once we get over this little sneezy bug that's going around, and once in the US you sort yourselves out a bit, we'll get over there.
Wisconsin ain't the place to be right now, man. Not in the cities.
Hello, Dorothy. You're a fool, Dorothy. It's nice to have you back where Chris can kick your ass.
Get a new argument and come back and see me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, on that note, thank you everyone who has been in the chat, and a few people have been here since the start, which is always pretty cool. I mean, to stick with it an hour and a half, that's very cool. Look, anyone who hasn't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. I actually do have a look at the stats, and about half of our audience isn't actually subscribed, which I think is interesting. So, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button, hit the dislike if you're Darth, which I think Darth's already done.
He did.
From that, keep an eye on everyone's Twitter, on everyone's channel. We've always got things coming up. There's always something interesting on YouTube happening. So that being said, has anyone got anything they want to quickly shill before we go?
I think I just did shill mine.
You did.
and you showed my channel for me, but I will say, if you're a movie maker and you do sci-fi, quit putting lights inside of helmets. You know who you are. It's bad.
And stop having sound in space. If you're not in an atmosphere, there is no fucking sound.
But lights inside helmets, it's the worst. People would not be able to see if you put lights inside their helmets. Exactly. God damn it, it bugs me.
I have
lots of things about sci-fi bugs me.
That's my pet peeve. That is lights inside helmets. Sorry, I had to.
I have a very important live stream coming up 7:30 a.m. Eastern time with Richard Graves on my channel, and what's that?
What day?
Monday, 7:30 a.m. Monday. I will have Richard Graves on my channel. We are going to be discussing pretty much everything that's going on in this country and why we disagree with extremists on both sides of the argument. So it's going to be a good conversation.
That sounds awesome, dude.
And just to let all my patrons over on Patreon know, I will have a Patreon exclusive coming up, hopefully Monday or Tuesday. I got to get a couple of more things together, and it's going to be a prison workout video.
I'm still waiting for the first one.
Do we get to dance?
Shouldn't that be on your OnlyFans?
I don't have an OnlyFans.
Oh,
Dude, I don't. What is OnlyFans?
It's a direct porn kind of thing, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like Patreon, but for porn.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
By the way, Grumpy, I'd love to get you on the channel to talk about radicalization in general. I would love to get you on there to talk about that. And also, by the way, I do have a show coming up. I think people here might be interested in. We actually have a writer for Netflix who is going to be coming on to the channel to talk about the inside process of Netflix and how things get greenlit. And we're going to be talking about how that relates to some of the more recent Netflix controversies and how people have reacted to them.
Oh, that sounds brilliant.
Coming on anonymously, or will they be coming on?
coming on under the name, we're not going to hit them with like, why do you work for Netflix and why does Netflix suck? No, we're going to be saying, okay, what's the process? If somebody does object to content on there, what do you think is the proper reaction? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like, we're going to be finding out what the internal process of Netflix is.
Yeah, some of the one show in particular they put out in the graphic sort of artwork that came out for that. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about Goop a little bit. We're going to be talking about Gay Jesus. There was a show that they had to fight a lawsuit actually in South America to be able to keep it up about essentially a gay Jesus. It's really interesting. It's called like the first something of Christ, I forget. But anyways, it was but we're gonna have him on. I think it's gonna be rather interesting, rather enlightening what goes on behind the scenes of Netflix. And he's willing to talk about a show that he wrote for that hasn't actually been officially announced yet. And he's going to talk about it and what it is, and it'll be cool for gamers. All right.
Brilliant.
The old guard was so good.
Oh, we should so do a stream on classic gaming, Ansgar.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Because I will go I'll go all the way back to 8-bit, even Commodore 64 and NES and all that.
One of the shows that that David McGinnis and I are building, the entire show is going to be done in pixel art, and it's all going to be, once it's done, it's going to be a weekly show on comics and games and things like that. But it's going to be really cool. I'd love to have you guys on often.
I was going to say,
love that. That was so much fun.
There's a mini series that was on Netflix that I saw called Level Up. I don't know if you've seen that. It's like the history of games.
Oh yeah,
and gaming. Oh, that is so cool. There was a lot of memories that came back with that, let me tell you. But it's like goes through the history of Nintendo and how it all rose, and they're showing the Tetris championships. And I played in a Tetris championship back in the day, and showing cool stuff like that. And it was Anyway, on that note, we might end the stream there. So thank you everyone who has been here since the start. Thank you everyone who's joined. Thank you to everyone who is watching this at some point in the future, because we don't always go on at the best time for everyone. But wherever you are, good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are on this beautiful round planet that we all occupy. Have a good night.